Good afternoon. Welcome to our training on the attorney percentage of practice time reporting. For those of you who've been doing this at previous years, you'll know that this is required for attorneys taking appointed cases in criminal law, juvenile law, or family protection representation. And that includes both trial level work and any appellate cases. This year, we wanted to do an updated training because we have totally redesigned our website, and that new website will go live on October 1st. We know many of you, and we thank you who have generally tried to go in and do it early. This year, with being sure we've got the website ready to go, it will not actually be open and accepting your information until October 1st. We also will have detailed information on TIDC's main website, tidc.texas.gov. If you go to the Oversight tab and then click on the Oversight tab on Submit Data and Reports, you will see on October 1st the link to the reporting website, which is tidc.it.tamu.edu, which we'll walk through in a minute. And it will also give you a link to the detailed PDF file of step-by-step instructions for entering all your report information. For those of you who've done this before, you will see that it is very similar on the new site to what you've dealt with before. The biggest difference you'll probably see is that the new site will have 3 different options when you go there initially to submit reports. For practice time reports, there's only one of these you need to look at, and that's going to be the attorney practice time report, which is on the right side of your screen. You will click on the green Go button, and then it will take you to the practice time reporting screen. Again, most of the instructions are the same thing you've seen before. Any appointed criminal or juvenile delinquency cases or any appointed family protection representation cases. This doesn't include other types of family law, such as ad litem dealing with a divorce or other matters, but anything from family protection representation or CPS cases are included on the reporting. One item we wanted to highlight that we've gotten questions on over the years is what about law grads that are working under a student practice card? Supervised practice cards, or some people call them student bar cards, are not required to complete the attorney percentage of practice time reporting. It's only for attorneys who have their full license from the state bar. When you get to the practice time report, just like in previous years, you'll enter your bar number into the box and click the green button to submit bar number. It will then come up and display the bar number that was entered, the attorney name from the state bar's records, email on file if we have an email, and the date that attorney was licensed. It will then ask you if this is the correct attorney. If it's not, just click no, click continue, and it'll take you right back so you can re-enter the correct bar number. So assuming we do have the correct bar number, we're going to click yes, click continue, and then the screen will come down to give you blanks to add every county you practice in. Remember, when we're talking about percentage of practice time reporting, this is the percentage of your total legal practice which you spent on appointed cases. It's looking at all the time you spent on appointed cases across every county you practiced in during the last fiscal year. For each county you practice in, there's a pull down to select the county. So let's say, for example, I practiced in Aransas, and we'll add another row that I had cases in Nueces, and then we can add another row that we also had cases in, I don't know, let's say Galveston. And then for each one of those counties, you're going to need to put in the percentage, again, of your total practice time, not the percentage of your time in that county that you spent on criminal, juvenile, and family protection. Notice as we enter, the total time reported will start moving up from 0 based on the totals of the time you entered and the other practice time, the part of your legal practice which was spent on non-appointed cases or appointed work that was not family protection, juvenile, or criminal, will then start to go down. So For example, let's say it was 15% on criminal in Aransas County, 5% on juvenile, and 5% on family protection. And Nueces, let's say it was 20% on criminal. And notice as I'm entering this, we are now up to a total of 45% of the total practice time that has been entered in these in Aransas and the criminal in Nueces, with 55% non-appointed. As we finish it out, let's say it was 5% juvenile and no family protection in Nueces. And then let's say Galveston's just a small amount of time that was entered and maybe a little more on family protection. It totals everything up for you. Now, one item is, let's say you accidentally select the wrong county. You can either go back, click on the down arrow, and change the county, or if you select the county and then you realize you didn't have any cases there for this fiscal year, then just click the red X and it will take that line back off. Once you've got all your time entered, then come down to the line where it asks you, how did you do this? Is this based on time records? Did you just pull out of your case management system and it said, I had this much time? Did you calculate based on case counts? Or did you do it on a combination? You also have the option of, if you use some other method, that's fine too. Just type in a description of what your method was. For the purposes of our example, let's say it was a combination of time records and case counts. And then we also want to be sure that we stay in touch with you. We can send you updates as we add the future year's reporting. Also to see if you want any other updates from TIDC, so we can keep you aware of other things that may be important to your practice on appointed work. So it's asked me if we previously gave test as a preferred email address. Is that still good? If I say yes, it's going to move on to the next question. If I say no, then it will ask me to give a new email address. For instance, I realized I didn't have the @ and a domain. So I'll update it to test@testing.com, and then it will ask to confirm that you want to get updates and reporting reminders from TIDC. Once you've done that, all you've got to do is click next. It will show you a summary of the percentages you entered and each county that you entered time on. It will tell you that you said your total was 59% of your practice time was appointed work, and it will tell you 41% was non-appointed practice time, and that was calculated on a basis of time records and case counts. It will also again include your bar number, your name, and the date you were licensed when you're entering it. Now, once you got it all done, just hit submit on the green button again, and you finished your report. Now, if you would like to have a copy of it, you could have printed the prior screen, or you can also click download submission. And depending on how your system's set, you may see you need to authorize a download and click what you need to on your browser to allow a download. You may see a window pop up saying it's downloading. And so let's close this share and go look in the download folder on the computer. So going to look in the downloads folder, you're going to see a document. It will be a PDF or Acrobat file that's named Attorney Practice Time. And then when you open that, again, let's change our share to go over and see the Acrobat file. Then going to the Acrobat file, and then you're seeing exactly what downloaded. It's got the TIDC letterhead on it. It tells you it was this fiscal year, FY24's attorney practice time submission, the attorney's bar number, the attorney's name, the date the attorney was licensed, a list of each county for which time was reported, the percentage of practice time on each type of cases overall in that county, your total time, and then the non-appointed practice time. It also timestamps it that it was done on September 25th, 2024 at 12:13. So again, that's the quick walkthrough. We will open the reporting on October 1st. The link to do your reporting for your practice time is tidc.it.tamu.edu, and then that link will also be on TIDC's website, tidc.texas.gov. Click on the oversight button. Click then, once you're on the oversight button, on submit data and reports. And on October 1st, you'll see new buttons that appear toward the bottom of that web page for attorney practice time reports that will take you directly to the link to do your reports. It will also have a downloadable Acrobat file with a step-by-step guide for making all of your reporting. Now, as we go through it, let's say you had questions, and maybe this is your first time doing the reports. So going back to our original website where we were doing it, you're going to see as we get there, you've got the option to go in and select exactly what information you need. We have tried very hard as we did the updates this year to include a lot of links that will give you information right on the same page you're working with as to what we're looking for, what type of information needs to be provided, and also the ability to immediately reach out to us and ask for help. If you need it, we're literally just an email away. So looking back on the page, we've gone in, let's say you enter your bar number. It asks you if it's correct. We continue. And then for each one of the areas, there is a green question mark or green circle with a white question mark in it that describes the exact types of cases that are included, makes it clear we're doing both pretrial, trial, and appellate for criminal and for juvenile, and that this is working on delinquency work. It does not include any non-delinquency work. We also have the definition for family protection representation cases that pops up. If you run into challenges, we also have help buttons that you can click on that will get you immediately to assistance working through. Send us an email. We will get back with you as quickly as possible to address any question. With that, I see looking at the Q&A that is this required reporting for all attorneys that are accepting appointments, or is it optional? What happens if an attorney does not report? Excellent question. These are required reports for all attorneys. The Texas legislature added the requirement originally for criminal and juvenile, and then family protection representation was added during the last session. It is not an optional report. Most counties in their indigent defense plans require for the reports to be made. If the reports are not made, an attorney may be ineligible to receive future appointments until the reports become compliant.
If I could add a couple points here. The statute for this is Article 26.04 J4 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. And we will send counties updates as to who has reported in November and early December. What we do is we gather information from auditors, and we will send out to counties who matches payments with auditors as compared to who has reported practice time. So for instance, if you reported practice time on Bill's example for Aransas and Galveston County, but you also received a payment for Nueces County, Nueces County may get in touch with you to say, hey, you need to enter a report here.
One other question we had from the Q&A is, if you've been appointed to represent a parent in a CPS appeal, would that be counted? Yes, it would. Whether you're appointed to represent a parent RA child and family protection representation or CPS cases, that is still included in the appointed percentage of practice time reporting. Let's see, we've got another question here on, will the presentation address grant reporting, progress, and expenditure reports? This one will not. We have had a series of presentations on the indigent defense expenditure reports. We will look at doing some reports on grant reporting for those counties that receive reports from us or grant funds from us for their improvement programs. However, at the same time, please feel free to reach out either to me, Bill Cox at wcox@tidc.texas.gov, or to our grants director, Edwin Colfax at ecolfax@tidc.texas.gov, and we'll be happy to help you with your grant reporting and expenditure reports and any questions you may have.
If I could add one more statutory site. So I mentioned the statutory site for criminal and juvenile reporting. For CPS reporting, it's the Texas Family Code, section 107.0042, if you are interested.
And another question we had, and we'll type it into the chat as well, but the website to do the reporting is tidc.it.tamu.edu.
If I could ask one question myself, Bill. So in the example you had, I believe you had 41% as other practice time. What could that include?
Other practice time could literally be anything you do that's not an appointed criminal, juvenile, or family protection case. That could be retained criminal work, retained juvenile work, retained family protection. It could be retained child support cases, family law, such as divorces. It could be probate, could be torts, literally personal injury, just about anything you may be doing on your legal practice other than those specific areas that we do reports on.
And then we have some more questions. What is the exact beginning and end date for the fiscal year?
So for the fiscal year, it starts on October 1st of the previous calendar year. So for this one, when we're talking about FY24, it starts October 1st of 2023, and it runs through September 30th of 2024. Great question we just had on the chat about a recording. We will have this posted on our YouTube page. We did one about 2 weeks ago that's already up. We will post this one as well, and then depending on the feedback we receive, we may either do a edit going through to include all the questions, or we may record one more to be sure that all the information is there and available to assist attorneys as they complete their practice time reports for appointed cases.
We've had some more questions. What if an attorney only has a solo practice that contains like 5 to 10% attorney work and the rest is non-attorney time? How would that attorney report?
Great question. Whatever that 5 to 10% is needs to be reported for the counties where it occurred, broken out as closely as you can between the three categories, assuming you did work in all of them. If you just do work in criminal, then you would just report in the criminal area and enter a 0 for the other areas.
Very good. Will the email link to reports in previous years?
We do not currently have the functionality to link back to prior years. We are looking at that for the future. However, if you need a report from a prior year, again, feel free to reach out to us. My email is wcox@tidc.texas.gov, and we'll be happy to work with the system to get a prior report for you. Just let us know which years you're looking for your report so we can get you what you need. We've got another question. What if I practice in a county but didn't bill this year because it's tedious and billing is so small that I'm doing it after dismissal? Will that create a problem? I'm assuming your question is, you didn't do interim billing. You're just billing at the end of the case. And so you're just going to bill, or you're going to report based on the cases you resolved for this year in that county and for the percentage of your practice time. Again, there are multiple ways you can calculate it. If you're doing it based on just closed cases, then for method of calculation, you can select other and put based on cases disposed at the end of the year. Another great question on how often do these reports need to be done. It's not monthly, it's only annually. It's currently the requirement is starting October 1st of every year. And it, according to the statutes, both for the Article 2604 and the Family Code, it is required to be done between October 1st and October 15th. Another question about CLE. We do not have CLE for this program, partially because this one is usually a very short program doing the training.
And then we had a comment from Crystal. You won't report based only on, for CPS, only on disposed cases, but any work that you do.
And part of that is also because, thank you for clarifying it, Crystal. Part of that's because how long CPS cases can go on. While a criminal case I understand there may be long ones, but criminal case may be relatively short. CPS cases can take a lot longer. And so all of our reporting on CPS is based on work performed during the year. My email address again is wcox@tidc.texas.gov. And I'm not seeing any other questions coming up in the Q&A, but I want to give it a few minutes just to be sure that if anybody has a question, we're able to respond to them while we're on live. We just got another question. So is this process just used for reporting, and will continue to use CAPS for billing? If whatever process you use for billing, you will continue using. This is just to report the percentage of practice time spent on criminal law, juvenile law, and family protection representation. Question about chiefs for multidisciplinary offices. How do they handle their appointments? Having been in that boat for a long time, literally what I would include was the overall part of my time that was spent between the different disciplines, and then include that as a description of, I based on it on how my time was divided up dealing with working on those. And I think the question on this one was dealing with the chief public defender or a supervisor in a public defender's office that handles multiple areas, like some do family law or family protection and juvenile and criminal. The link again to report practice time, which will go live on October 1st, is tidc.it.tamu.edu. And we got one more question. Will you send the email or link on October 1st if we have filed reports in the past? Yes, if you shared an email address with us when you filed your past reports, we will absolutely send a reminder on October 1st when it goes live. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions coming in on the Q&A. I would like to thank everyone for joining us. Again, the reporting will go live on October 1st. The link for reporting, if you want to go directly to it, is tidc.it.tamu.edu. Or if you prefer to go to our website, tidc.texas.gov, you can click on the Oversight tab and then choose the Submit Data and Reports link, and it will take you to the buttons there for both the reporting and for the step-by-step how-to. We've got one more question about if I didn't provide an email in the past, how will I be notified of reporting? Again, go to TIDC's website, tidc.texas.gov on October 1st. The links to the reporting and to the how-to guide will be there. We also reach out to bar associations, especially those focused on juvenile law, criminal law, and family protection representation across the state, and ask them to remind all of their members that the reporting is open and live, and to be sure they complete their percentage of practice time reporting. Again, thank you very much. We appreciate your joining us, and feel free to reach out to us with any questions you have.